very slowly make your way down to your back on the mat. Then we're going to bring our awareness to our shoulder blades and slide them down the back like you're sliding your shoulder, your hands into jean pockets by way of the shoulder. So just tuck those shoulders in those little pockets. Very good. Bring your hands to your waist here. Good, so we have the shoulders splaying open. They're not protruding forward. We want them melting, spilling out, open and down into the mat. So just if you don't feel that, let's try to find that in the back body. Legs are bent. You're gonna give yourself a little bit of space here with the feet, so they don't have to be all tucked in to the tail. Give yourself a little bit of space here. Hands on the waist. Good, and we're gonna do some breath work with pelvic tilts, so we can find our core. So hands on the waist here, big inhale. We're gonna feel the chest rise, the ribs open. Good 360 opening in the lungs, in the chest, even around to the back. So imagine you can breathe into your back muscles as you take that big inhale. And as you do, your tail will roll forward into an anterior pelvic tilt. So you'll feel your tailbone really pressing into that neck. On the exhale, we're gonna bring the belly button down into the spine, knit the rib close. Imagine you can literally bring your ribs together. We're gonna feel that pelvis lift up and back, posterior and a posterior pelvic tilt. Those are our pelvic tilts. We inhale, very slowly release the pelvis down. You'll feel that exaggeration of that lumbar spine, that lordotic curve. And on the exhale, we find a nice tilting of the pelvis in and back. Nice. Keep that going. A few more breaths here. Inhaling, releasing. Exhaling, belly going down toward the spine, maybe even up toward the chest energetically. Good. Inhale, release. Exhale. Then we put the hands on the waist because we really want to feel those structures moving. I want you to really imagine blowing up your midsection down through the diaphragm, through the transverse abdominis, really expanding 360 view and collapsing. Very good. On that exhale, let's hands on our waist here. We feel our pelvis shooting straight up. We see our belly button shooting straight up. We feel that bony prominence behind us. The back, little bit of space in the mat, but not that much. That's the position that we want to find in our core here. Nice, stable, strong position. So with that in mind, with our pelvic tilts in mind, let's warm up our core. Big inhale at the bottom. Remember, we're releasing that tail. We feel the tailbone go forward and down. And on the exhale, just like we practiced with those tilts, move your feet closer toward your tail now. Plant the palms down into the mat. Exhale, lift that pelvis up and back, and we're gonna roll up all the way through the upper spine. Good, inhale at the top, squeeze the glutes, and on the exhale, we're gonna roll down through to the tailbone. So you wanna imagine that you are like peeling the paper off of a Band-Aid with your tail, slowly lifting it up. Good, inhaling at the top and slowly rolling down through the upper, middle, lower, and tail lowers down. Good, let's do that about 3 more times. Nice and slow and with control, really focusing on lifting that pelvis up and rolling through the lower, middle, upper back, squeezing the glutes at the top, and exhaling, rolling through the upper, middle, lower, until we lower that tail down. Pelvis the last thing to lift off, pelvis the last thing to connect to the mat when we come down, and the first thing to lift up off of the mat when we go up. So we need lots of control here. Everything is working. Of course, we feel the back body really engaging to help us get there. And we have our core stability, our core activation every time we exhale and pull that belly toward the spine. Good, one more here. We'll after we lower down. Good, and one more big exhale, big shifting of that belly in and up and lifting. Good, and slow exhale, release and lower. Very good. As you are ready, let's bring those legs up into a tabletop position. And you can bring your hands back to your pelvis just to refocus on that positioning of the pelvis. Once again, we want to have that very slight posterior pelvic tilt, very little space in the back. And this is where we are. We're going to hold this position. Oh, hi, Gaia. We're going to hold this position. You can keep the hands up in front if you want to challenge yourself, or keep them down. Here we practice the core as a stabilizing mechanism. So we can use our core to stabilize ourselves, so we can get movement elsewhere, which we will practice. And you can also use your core dynamically, like if you're doing a crunch, which we will do as well. So this is that stable, where we use the core to hunker down. Good. And then this is the core working. This is core stability. Just to be able to maintain this position, resist the urge to rock, to move, to let the knees fall, of course. We hang out here. Keep every exhale, we find that reconnection to our core, sending the belly down to the spine, knitting the ribs closed. Whew, I'm talking and I feel my core working. Make sure you feel the knees. Keep the knees over the hips. Glue the inner thighs together. Let's find even a slight lifting up through the pelvic floor. About 10 more seconds here, whether the hands are up or down. Yes, we feel it for 5, 4, checking the shoulders, 3, 2, and 1. Very good. Lower them down for just a moment. Quick note about our neck. Our neck is an extension of our spine, so make sure you're kind to it. We want to have what we call a cervical nod in Pilates. So you want to take your chin, if it's lifting up, which sometimes we do, especially when we're doing like, core stuff, we're like, but that's a lot of stress in your neck. Be kind to your neck. It's a part of your beautiful body, right? So cervical nod, we tuck that chin toward the chest. Then so we feel the back of the head kind of flush with the mat. Keep a space about a golf ball or tennis ball, or whatever your favorite fruit is, that's ball shape, cervical shape, sticking right up in there. We keep that space. All right, let's take it back to tabletop. Check in with your pelvis. If you need to, it stays there. It doesn't move. Let's bring the hands to the back of the neck. Now we do dynamic core activation. Big inhale, shoulders is spilling out, open and down. Big inhale, exhale, knit the ribs closed. Use that knitting of the ribs closed and bringing the belly button toward the spine to lift the head. That's the move. Inhale down, exhale, inhale down, exhale. Good. So as we lower down, we want to resist the urge to dome our spine. So we want to resist the urge to do that. As we lower down, remember we have that stability in the core and the dynamic motion. So as we lower down, we feel that stability to keep us from lifting the back. Good. Give me about 6 more here. Good. Remembering your cervical nod. Keeping the elbows nice and wide. I have 3 more. Good. Not lifting from the shoulders or the neck, but the core. Last one. And release. Very good. Now we can bring the hands toward the waist, or once again, you can bring them up overhead for a little extra added challenge, but make sure the shoulders stay on the mat. Let's point the toes, and we're gonna do toe dips. So we're just imagining that we're dipping the toes into a pool of water. We're gonna try to get those knees to stay in line with the hips every time, so that we don't borrow from anywhere else in our body. We want to make sure we're coming from the core. And again, you can bring your hands to your pelvis here and make sure it's not moving. Belly button still shining up. Bony prominences on our pelvis are pointing up. And then we feel our bony prominences behind in the mat. We feel the back semi-flush with the mat. Breath is nice and full. You got this for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the knees together. Let's keep this fire burning. We're going to do a modified jackknife. Here's how it goes. Move the legs down. Inhale down. Exhale. Shoulders lift. Exhale down. Inhale lower. Inhale down. Exhale. And we lift up on the next exhale and inhale down. Keep that going. And the breath can be a little hard to get first, especially if you're very new to core work. So as long as you're breathing nice and full, making the intention to knit those ribs closed on every exhale, we'll get there. Whoop, I messed up. Woo, down and up and down and up. Give me 4 more here. Knees going down and up, chest lifting up and down. For last 3, we can extend the legs if we want. That's gonna make it even harder. Woo, woo. And down, legs down and up, chest down and up. I think we have 2 more. I lost count once I extended the legs. Woo. Last one, I'm gonna bend. Woo, and lift. Excellent, hug those knees in. Take a big inhale in and out. And let's add on here. Let's extend the legs long. Very good. So we're going to expand on those toe dips. So point the toes if that feels good. We have the hands lifted. Keep the shoulders down if you like. We're going to scissor the legs. So this is our stability in the spine. And then as you scissor the legs, I want you to take your hands and try to tap the inside ankle of your ankle, the opposite ankle. Good. So if you want to do more, of course, we can keep the shoulders lifted. If you want to do less, you can bend the knees. Bend, still reach for those inner ankles. Good. Keeping that back nice and planted to the mat, even if the shoulders are lifted, the back doesn't move. Ooh, this is challenging. Let's do 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woo. All right. Rocking and rolling our way through. Let's extend the legs up long. Nice. Point the toes. Again, we can bend the knees here if we like. Point the toes. Reach the hands up toward the toes. We can keep the hands, or actually, let's take a big inhale, and on the exhale, we'll all lift the shoulders. If it feels good, if not, keep them down. But if you're with me, you're with me. Let's reach toward the toes, little pulses, little reaches, carving out that belly, lowering the spine, belly to the mat for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent work. Now, let's do what's called a hollow body. So we kind of did that at the beginning when we were here. Now, we're going to bring the hands around the knees. Try to keep the knees in line with the hips. We're going to lift the shoulders up toward the low hip. And we're going to bring the hands to reach the ankles. We're going to take a big inhale. And on the exhale, we're going to rock up. Whew. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. All right, let's straighten the legs long here. Moving into our lateral spine. So we're up at the top of the mat, seated. Legs are extended. Let's flex the toes. And then we'll take our favorite leg and bend that knee in toward the chest. And you can give yourself a little bit of space here. So be mindful. Oh, actually, straighten the legs. Just kidding. I forgot to prep this first. Hands out in front in line with the shoulders. So we were doing this on the mat, only we were laying down. Now we're laying up. So we're laying up. Now we're sitting up. So we really get to see how the core works to keep us stable by way of our posture. To have a flat back, shoulders over hips takes a lot of core activation, a lot of core work. So if you can do this with minimal difficulty, very good job. Good job. We're building. And if not, then that's okay because we can build on it. So just take a moment to feel this nice, good posture. Shoulders stacked over hips. Again, belly button, ribs knitting closed, belly button lifting up. Finding that C curve in and up. Shoulders sliding down the back. Let's add on. Let's take a big inhale. We'll reach the shoulders, leading with the thumbs. Excuse me, not the shoulders. We'll reach the hands up, leading with the thumbs, in line with the ears. Big inhale. And on the exhale, lower the hands down toward the chest. Inhale, lift. Exhale like you're blowing through a little straw, knitting the ribs closed. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Good. Give me 4 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Good. Challenge is to keep the shoulders over the hips the whole time. We resist the urge to lean backward or forward. 2 more. this big breath, breath power, everything we do. And last one. Very good. Now let's bend that knee. Nice. We'll inhale the hands up overhead. And on the exhale, working from the rib cage, we'll twist toward that bent knee. Inhale, rotate chest back to center. And exhale, carving out the belly, we twist second side. Try to see if you can make one straight line. Inhale, lift. And again, even here, look down at your hips. Make sure they're not moving. We want to keep whatever is on the mat nice and stable, glued to the mat. We concern ourselves as much with what isn't moving as with what is. Again, resisting that urge to roll forward, backward, or forward. We use our core to stay nice and stacked over the hips. Give me 3 more on each side, total of 6. Good. Exhaling like we're blowing through that straw, carving out the spine. 4 more. 2. And 1 more on each side. We finish it up. And release. Good. Inhale up. Let's release the legs. We'll exhale, take a nice fold here. Ooh, a nice big inhale in. Slow exhale, release the shoulders. Good, and then we'll very slowly roll up, shoulders back over hips, and we'll do that on the second side. The lateral rotation here, we feel our rib cage, our obliques working. Inhaling up, exhaling, twisting. We got about a total of about 8 to 10 here. Of course, we even it out. So 1 left and right equals 1. Following the breath, keeping the shoulders nice and stacked over the hips. Using our nice building of that strong core to keep everything stable that needs to be stable, and to help us move what needs to move. Excellent. Blowing, exhaling through that little straw, imaginary straw in the mouth. Good. All right, I think I have 2 more on each side. Working from the rib cage, hips stay stable. Good. Now I have 1 more each side. Up, open, up, and open, and very good. Now let's bend both knees, and we'll come up into either boat pose, or you can keep the legs down and flex, keep the heels down and flex the toes. Whatever feels best and most comfortable for you in this moment. This is our last move to wrap up our core burner. So stick with me, stay with me. We're almost there. Okay, so find either your boat pose. Even though we're leaning back, we want to find that flat back, so we don't want to look like this in our boat pose, right? Be proud of yourself. Keep lifting the chest up toward the thigh or the knees. Hands are out in front. We're going to do that same motion. We exhale, twist, inhale, center. Exhale, twist, inhale, center. Goal is to minimize the rocking in that which needs to be stable, which is the legs. So the hips don't move, the legs don't move. A good marker is to look at your knees, and if your knees are in line with each other, that really means that we're stabilizing. If you find that your knees are not in line, one of your hips is probably a little more forward or back than the other, and we'll just adjust it. Good. Ooh, this is very challenging. We might feel those inner thighs, that low body, those glutes, if we're squeezing them, firing. Give me 2 more on each side. You got it. Center. Twist. 1 more. Center. Twist. In and twist. Ooh, let's roll it down. Straighten the legs. Ooh, we can take a fold here first. Actually, excuse me, we're not rolling it down. Let's swing the legs. We'll bend the legs and then swing around to find all fours or a tabletop. Very good. And then we'll end with a cat-cow, opening the chest, releasing the back, releasing the spine. As you're ready, big exhale. We find that nice C curve. Good. This time for the purpose of stretching, not the purpose of strength. So again, this is why I love doing what I do, because we get to use our bodies in so many different ways. And sometimes it's the same way, but you tweak it just a little bit and now it becomes a strength exercise. So I just think that's pretty cool. So find your flow in your cat-cow. Good. Drawing a line with the nose as you lift the chest up and fold it inward. A couple more reps here. And down. Good. Let's release it. Knees open wide or together. Let's take it to child's pose. If it feels good, we can bring the hands toward the feet. Release the shoulders. Big breath in and out. Just a moment, take a beat. Feel that fire, that heat we sometimes need to create change. It's all good.